Sunlight is just coming over the ridge now. Probably about 8:30 in the morning. Well, good chilly morning from camp. It's winter solstice, December 21st, and we had a little bit of light snow last night, emphasis on light. I mean, you can't even really call it a dusting. It's more of a highlight of snow, just on the flat areas and windows and that sort of thing. But it gives you an idea of how cool it is out here. And I say cool, it's above freezing. It's more wind chill than anything else. The wind has picked up overnight, roughly about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and that'll affect going out on the trails a little bit, but I'm ready for it. It's not shirt sleeve weather, as I like to say, but it's not that cold either. So let's see how the wind is once we get out on the trails and explore a little bit. It's not exactly the most peaceful location, and maybe you can hear it. Shenandoah River State Park appears to be on the flight path of not only Dulles International Airport, but BWI out of Baltimore and also out of Washington, D.C. You've got 3 airports worth of traffic flying over this area, in and out. And I thought it was noisy living in the city. There are, of course, many local flights taking place, and lots of tweeting about them by those who are flying. Cold temps aren't icing any wings here. It's very active around camp. I'm trying out these interlocking panels from IKEA to make a little porch. Yeah, I like it. I think I'll put my other rug on top as well. That should work very well. Appears we have some deer tracks. Well, you know, I gave it a try. I picked up nothing here. So I think I'll take the antenna down early because it's going to be so cold. This is a steep entrance into the campground, and it's a year-round campground. I guess they clear it for snow and ice. I don't know. It's pretty steep. That ridge right in front of me is where I'm heading. You definitely know this is a Virginia road. Well, this is a little bit of a monumental moment. I get to use my National Park Senior Pass for the first time. I'm excited. This is cool. Morning.
Morning. So unfortunately the drive is closed today.
Oh my goodness.
Ice and snow up on the mountain, so
okay.
Closed till it clears up.
Alrighty. Well, another day.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, snow and ice up on the Skyline Drive. It didn't seem like much happened last night, but apparently it did as far as the park is concerned. So, there's going to be no hike up along the AT. I was planning to do a short little hike up there and then drop down into the park and do a hike in the park. So plan B is, let's hike in the park. I can probably get 2 decent hikes in today in the park proper. I could check out Skyline Caverns, but I'm really not in the mood for spelunking. Another time. The nice thing about Shenandoah River State Park is it's relatively close to DC. To get the trailer and to drive down here, it's about a 2-hour drive each way, but that isn't terribly bad. And I have the luxury of perhaps coming down and picking a time when it's not so busy. So a return visit is definitely in the books. I like hikes when it's late fall, early spring, and of course even over the winter. When the leaves are down, the vegetation is down, you can see through the trees, you can see all of the landscape around you. It's not so much a leaf tunnel or you're constrained by what's the undergrowth growing around you. Perhaps we'll try more of this in the early spring. The threat of any ice or snow up on the ridge has gone, although we are at elevation here a bit, and it can happen certainly even in the springtime. Well, I do get a nice drive along Stonewall Jackson Highway here. The morning light is very nice through these trees. A lot of great color, greens and browns, gray, blue, and some peaks at the Shenandoah River South Fork and the mountains along the way. For the most part, from what I've seen in Virginia, signage is excellent. And usually there's some warning that the park entrance is coming up. Here, however, you don't get a warning. So if you come to Shenandoah Rivers, just remember that as you pass through the little town of Limetown, the entrance is coming up pretty fast. And I didn't see a sign that said park ahead. So just beware of that should you come here and visit. And I think you should. And of course you have fast cars behind you on this road. Right up there is where I was hoping to go this morning. Somewhere along the Appalachian Trail. Yes, it remains an elusive trail. For now, I'll stick to this windy trail on the way to the Visitor Center to get some inside suggestions on the best 2 hiking routes within the park. Let's take a look at the Visitor Center. I found the park ranger. This has a very nice visitor center. It would rival any park's visitor center that I've seen. Well, definitely not freezing here. I don't think we need that today. Cool, it's Lego Park Animals and Activities. Well, that's the only bear I've seen so far. Likely these are the only snakes moving at this point in the year. He likes following the camera. And I'm not even using a fisheye lens to entertain this Shenandoah River dweller. No wonder he likes me. His friends seem a bit stiff. This visitor center has collected a lot of local animals that have been found after their days were through and now have a new life welcoming visitors. And then there are the stuffed animals you can take home, or perhaps the term is now plush toys. Out the back windows is the million-dollar view of Massanutten Mountain. Of course there would be a birdhouse at the visitor center. That one comes with perhaps the most scenic perch. This is Colors Overlook, and this looks to be a commanding view here. Even have a little telescope. I've got a zoom lens, so I'll use that. Well, I'm certainly not going to say it is shirt sleeve weather. The wind is really blowing out here, but it's a great day to be out. The sun is shining. Wow, look at the colors off of the mountains and the ridges and the river. Stunning. There's part of the trail. This I would not have seen from the AT. It's a beautiful panorama out here, even in the winter. The area looking upstream to the left along the floodplain and wooded hills once belonged to Everett Cullers and his wife Nettle. The land was part of a larger farm when Everett acquired it in 1953. He and his wife, along with their 3 sons, worked hard to preserve the scenic boundary along the river, which made it an attractive location when Virginia bought 484 acres in 1994 to expand Shenandoah State Park by about 2 miles along the water. It certainly makes quite a view from this vantage point. There's the visitor center. The light and the highlights are always changing as the clouds move across here. It's really spectacular. The Shenandoah River is the principal tributary for the Potomac River. The Shenandoah runs 56 miles from Front Royal to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, but its 2 forks from north and south each flow another 100 miles before converging at Front Royal. This is the South Fork. With a highlighted map in hand and a good look at the park below, time to head back to camp and get ready to walk a few miles along a couple of the many trails. Here's my pit stop before heading out on the second hike, which culminated with a great solstice sunset. Check it out in the previous video I titled Trailhenge. Once again, we're in bear country. First up, the river trail that snakes along the banks of the Shenandoah. I've noticed in this park a couple areas like this. It looks like they were former camping spots that they have apparently abandoned and nature is reclaiming. I considered some of these sites in the lower part of the loop, but I went for Space 5 because of the view, at least online. Space 4 looks like it has a better view, although somebody's going to be in it tonight, allegedly. Here's the yurt that I saw from the observation platform. Somewhere up on that ridge, I can't quite spot it through the trees. We're going to start with the river access trail. Super short connector from the campground, and look at that. You're right here by the Shenandoah River. All these trails, by the way, they list for bikes. I didn't bring my bike today, and I could have covered a lot more on the trail on a bike, but I thought, yeah, it's kind of cold for that. I'm just going to walk. Next time I'll bring the bike. Isn't that gorgeous? And the water down here is so clear. It's a fairly shallow part of the river. I'm now on the river trail, and you can see they've reinforced this with mesh and stone, gravel. Appropriate blue blaze for the river trail. They even have access down to the water. I mean, really good access. Well, no wonder you can go tubing, and this is where you get out. Fortunate for you, you get to watch this in the warmth and comfort of your home. If you want to get a feel for what it's like here, maybe you can watch standing next to your refrigerator with the door open. That's about the best I can do. About a 2-mile loop. Here are a couple homes for rent. I hear it's fairly cheap. First come, first serve. I have decent cell service here, and that could be why. I may recognize that campsite. Well, from here I can see up on the ridge. And there is the overlook. The park certainly does not skimp on river access. Several points where you can get to the water. Very nice. Just take a look. Or you can go down and be a little more active. I scared a heron from this side to that side. Sorry. Yeah, I think he got over it. Another tributary into the river. At my campsite, the sun rose over this ridge about 9 a.m. It has now traveled to approximately here in 4 hours, and in another 3 hours, it's going to be setting over here. It's the shortest day of the year, at least in terms of sunlight. Still 24 hours though, so I'm told. Actually, that light gray area is a little bit of snow falling. Lots of folks like to ride horses here too. There's another river access. It's a little cloudier now than it was earlier, and you probably cannot see it on the camera, but there are small snowflakes falling. Just one or two here and there. It's not that cold, actually. It's just above freezing. But the key is no wind, and that's what makes it pleasant. Wind is always a thing that makes a cold day tough. Next time, I'll bring the bike next time. This place must have quite a view. Look at all those windows. Looks like the army is coming in. As advertised, it's a long trail. Guess what this sign says? Yep, river access. Rocks like this used to be flat. Now they're standing on their edge because great forces have pushed the rocks upward like that and over. Now they're all on their edge. This tree is wearing camouflage. Very fashionable. I've come across a few runners out here. Looking to get back into that myself. Well, I didn't quite do it right, so I'm just going to cut across this pollinator trail and pick up the campground trail over toward the overlook. Somewhere that way. I thought perhaps these were some nice homes up on the ridge. They're actually campground cabins. pretty spacious up there. It is a pretty view across Pollinator Field. It would appear those were pollinated. These are trail trimmed trees. Trimmed for the holidays and beyond. Now that's what I call trimming the tree. I think this park has the most birdhouses I've seen in a park. They're even behind the utility box. I wonder if this birdhouse comes with power. He's not looking for a house. He's looking for food. Looks like that may be a platform for an eagle's nest. I don't have to worry about stepping in anything on this trail. More deer tracks. Deer have been here. That's a winter solstice sky. Back at the entrance to the campground, look at that view. Absolutely beautiful. The camp host has a bird feeder, and it is a busy place. It's another clear, very cold overnight. Another beautiful, slow sunrise over the ridge. The crisp new day doesn't deter the birds from flocking to the trees and around camp. It's time for me to fly too, and head home. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and be sure to follow GPS to the next destination.